Yo! It's Floppish back. And today I will show you a method on how to get a lot of fruits in Blox Fruits. I will tell you some tips and tricks to optimize and make this method more efficient, so be sure to watch till the end. But without further ado, let's get into the video. To put it simply, a service business in Blox Fruits is when you do a favor or task for someone, and in return they will pay you back. It can be in the form of a fruit, or a game pass if you're doing a major task for them. An example of a service that you can do are raids, Dark Blade V3, True Triple Katana Swords, and the legendary hockey colors. For this video, I will use raid services as my examples, because they are the easiest to understand. Also, if you're doing raid services, you are going to need to use the Awakened Buddha fruit, and you're going to need to use a fighting style. But now that you're all covered about that, let's move on to step number 1. You will need Discord for this method to work as efficiently as possible. Once you have it loaded up, you will need to join a Blox Fruit related server. I recommend you join the official Blox Fruit Discord server, and the Fantasy World Discord server. You can join even more servers if you want, but that's ultimately up to you. Next, you are going to create your own Discord server. You can call it anything you want, but you will need it for step number 2. Once you've created your own private Discord server, this is where you're going to type your text in. In this text you are going to put the service you're going to sell, and you're going to put your prices in that text. If you don't know what your prices are going to be, then I recommend you go to the Blox Fruit Discord, or the Fantasy World Discord, and go to the channel that includes the service that you are going to do. For my example, I will be doing raid services. So if I don't know what my prices are going to be, I'll look through the raid callout channel in the Blox Fruits Discord. Then I would look at somebody else's prices, preferably someone that has a decent amount of vouchers. Then I would make my prices slightly cheaper than theirs. I recommend using the Blox Fruit value list if you need help with your prices. If you still don't understand this, or you still are unsure about your prices, and if you're planning on exclusively doing raids, you can just go to the description and copy my prices. These prices are for raid services only. But once you have your prices figured out, you will need to do your rules. One rule that everybody should have is not going first. This means that the person who's buying your service will have to trade you the fruit first. Then you'll do the service after. If you have your services, rules, and prices done on your text already, you are basically done with this step. But let's move on to step number 3. After you've finished typing, and sent your text to your private Discord, you are going to copy it. And then you are going to paste it in the channel about your service. So if you are doing a raid service, you are going to paste your text in raid callouts. If you're doing a legendary hockey or true triple katana swords, you'll have to paste your text in the help channel, or the sword and or dealer channel if you're in the Blox Fruits Discord. Other than that, you'll have to keep pasting your text. And you'll have to play the waiting game, until someone DMs you. But it might take some time, and you have to be patient. But don't worry, the first customer is always the hardest one to get, because you won't have any vouchers, but it will become progressively easier as the more customers you get. Other than that, let's move on to step 4. Once somebody DMs you, they will usually tell you what fruit they are going to pay you, and what things they want in return. Since this is your first customer, you should definitely agree to it. But after that, you should join a game and you should ask them to trade you the fruit first. Then you are going to head to the trading place and get your fruit. But once they give you the fruit, please don't scam. There are many reasons why. But the main reason is that they could easily spam, and tell everybody in the Discord that you're a scammer. And nobody will want to trust you after that. You've basically cooked your own reputation, just to get a single fruit. You'll get a lot more fruits, and be more rich long term if you choose to not scam. Now after all of that, let's move on to step number 5. Now that you've received the fruit from your customer, you should do the service. If you're not doing raid services, you can skip to step 6. But if you are doing raid services, then I recommend you set your spawn at the hot and cold island if you're doing raids in the 2nd sea. And if you are doing the raids at the 3rd sea, I recommend you set your spawn to the castle on the sea. I highly recommend you to use Buddha while doing the raids. Awakened Buddha is by far the best fruit to do raids, because of its insane reach and OP defense buffs. Also, I highly advise you to use a fighting style, due to its ability to spam and deal a lot of damage in a short amount of time. Next, if you haven't already, I recommend you put your stats on melee and defense, for extra health, stamina, and extra fighting style damage. You can also get Race V4, and Cool Mask accessory. They are really helpful, but not necessary. But that is all that you need if you're planning on doing raid services. Now let's move on to the final step, aka step 6. Once you've completed the service, and done what they asked for, make sure to ask for a vouch from them. A vouch basically means that you did the service, and you didn't scam. In other words, it basically proves that you're legit. These are some examples of vouches. After they give you a vouch, you should screenshot it. Edit your text and put vouches 1 on it. As you get more vouches, you are going to increase it by 1 every time you get a vouch. But that is basically it for this tutorial. This method is by far the best way to make fruits. The only problem with this method is you can only trade 5 times every 12 hours. Anyways, that's the end of this video. But make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. You can comment what you've learned or anything you want. But please subscribe, as I'm trying to get monetized, and it is a dream of mine to hit 1,000 subscribers.